weird without your headphones on. Like I'm like, are you
Yeah.
listening or?
I know it is weird. I'm not used to it yet. I can't. Everything sounds so different. Like you sound different. I sound different.
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean with different headphones.
I might return these things, man. I don't know if they're
Uh
for me. Yeah, I don't know. I got them. I got them because these are the ones that Scott uses,
oh. I got
and
you.
he swears that they're really good. I don't know. Here's my thing about headphones is like I already have trouble hearing. Like I
Right.
just played in loud bands where we practiced in someone's little ass room,
Yep.
and and then playing on stage at venues that like weren't nice enough to have like monitors, so you just turned everything
Mm-hmm.
way up,
Way up. Yep.
and so my hearing is gone. My hearing is shot. And so I'm of two minds. One, I need a nice set of headphones because I can't hear, and
Right.
I could hear more detail if I had headphones that presented more detail, right?
Right.
Or I I shouldn't buy nice headphones because it's going to be lost on me anyway. I'm only going to
Right.
capture 50% of what I probably should be getting. So yeah, I'm of two minds
The
when it
worst
comes to
headphones
headphones.
might actually sound better to you than the good headphones because
Mm,
they're not like trying to be so good, and maybe your mind already just can't process all that, so maybe
yeah.
it will sound better. I don't know. I'm just spitballing there.
That's a good that's a great point. It's definitely a
Just go to
possibility.
the gas station, just buy like a $5 pair of headphones. These are the most amazing headphones I've ever used.
Hello, and welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic, the podcast at the intersection of Linux and gaming. This is episode 28, and we are live streaming. Get this, we are live streaming to Crowbar Kernel Panic's YouTube channel, ECN Radio's YouTube channel, and the Undercast and ECN Facebook pages. And we'll also automatically post after this goes live. It'll automatically be posted onto the Crowbar Kernel Panic Facebook. So. But if you want to subscribe to this podcast, you want to get more Crowbar Kernel Panic, more Linux gaming, I would suggest subscribing to that YouTube channel, Crowbar Kernel Panic. This episode, we're winging it, man. All wings,
Yep.
no notes. That's the motto of this episode. We have no show notes. I haven't even been listening to other Linux podcasts. I don't know what's going on in the Linux world. I
Not too.
have nothing to cover other than you've been moving and like
Yep.
starting a new job. I've
Yep.
been doing nothing new. My life has been exactly the same, which
Sometimes
is
that's a good thing,
what's that?
but sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah, no. Sometimes it's a good thing, but we haven't been doing a show because of that. And we said on the last
Yeah.
episode that we did that it would be a little while, so it shouldn't come as like too big of a surprise. But
Hopefully.
so we joked before we went on that we promised not to talk about Fedora today, and I got to say I've had an uneventful hiatus. I have not installed a new distro. I've not. I only did updates the other day because I was like, man, it's been a while since I did updates. so I went ahead and did my Yum update, and I got a ton
DNF?
in. I'm still on Nobara. I haven't changed anything, and I've got nothing. Like, there's nothing to talk about. Nothing's broken. Nothing's new. It's just been chugging along.
Nice. Nice.
How about you? How was your? Oh, but I did have to confess that I'm dual booting now, and
Yeah.
I didn't dual boot before. I was 100% Linux on my machine, and now there is this suspicious little partition that has a NTFS format, and my other
Yeah.
partitions are like, what is that, or what's going on over there?
Hey, at least you're using Fedora, so you got that brand new kernel driver for NTFS.
Well, there you go.
It-
There
It's
you
still
go.
around.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know I was taking advantage of that.
I don't know if you are or not, but I
No.
think it's got to be enabled.
I wanted to kind of give a report though. So I installed Windows because I had like a free trial of the
Wait.
Adobe. What's that?
10 or 11?
10. I had to actually
Okay.
look. I had to actually check and see. Uh, I wanted to report back that some of the issues that I was seeing in games are the same. I assumed because I don't have anything to compare it to because I 100% boot Linux all the time. I didn't have any way to compare some of the issues I was having in like Elder Scrolls Online. You know how I was talking about how I would have
Yeah.
that load in issue?
Yep.
It does it on Windows too. So it has to be like either network related or like my graphics card or
Right.
we discussed this before. I think more likely when it comes to Elder Scrolls, it's probably my CPU, not my graphics card.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not a Linux thing. Definitely is just my computer is just shit, whether it has Linux or Windows on it.
Bo needs an upgrade.
Yeah, I
Go
know.
to our Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. we don't got
We
one.
don't have a Patreon. But yeah. So I was gonna say that like it's not. It doesn't seem to be a specific thing. It's just it's specific to me. It's just my issues. Fedora, it's not you, it's me. But yeah, so I signed up. I had like a free trial of Adobe, and there's one feature that made me decide to go ahead and sign up for the full thing, and it was in Adobe Audition. I can truncate the silence. So you know how you can truncate silence in Audacity?
Yeah. Right.
I can do that with video. So I can say cut out all the moments of all the pauses of silence. I can do that for the video version of the podcast.
That's useful.
Yeah, because I was doing that. What I was doing is, if you listen to the audio version, it sounded a little bit better than watching the video because of that truncation really makes a big difference. And so I don't know. There's a drawback because you'll be able to see when people go back and watch this, they'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But there's like a drawback because you'll be able to see chunks, cuts in the video. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's not worth paying for the, however much it costs for the Adobe Premiere. But what have you been doing, man? Your life has been like crazy hectic.
Oh yeah, crazy. Moving and starting a new job. Yeah, it's been nuts. I literally got my computer set up and all this crap. Like it's a halfway job here. I just got it set up enough to be going, and that all happened last night.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours of just mayhem.
I know. Getting ready for the podcast today, you're like, I gotta make sure the internet's working. I gotta install Discord. I gotta set where's my webcam? Like
exactly. That was my life for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh man. And on top of that, I got a wedding this weekend coming up, and I'm working 10-hour days just to make up for the
for the extra day.
Yeah, I wanna get off on Friday, so that's on top of it.
Yeah.
Plus, with the internet, like you said, I don't even have internet because, well, if anyone knows about Comcast, Xfinity,
oh yeah,
that's what I have, and I don't even have it yet, and I'm already having problems.
Oh man.
So in my apartment, there's not a cable run up here for the internet, so I had to call them and first get them to put the address in because the address needs to be a different one from the landlord's address who lives underneath us.
Yeah.
So they had to do that. That alone is going to take 3 to 5 days just to do that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So after that's done, and I get the email that that's finished, which who knows if that's, maybe I'll have to contact them again. Then I got to set up an appointment for them to run the internet up here.
Yeah.
Because currently I'm using a little TP-Link repeater, Wi-Fi repeater, 2.4 gigahertz.
Yeah.
To repeat off of my landlord's Wi-Fi because she let us use that. Then I have a cable running from that to my router, my actual router that I'm gonna use. Then a cable running from that to my PC. So it's a little jank, but
I had whenever I was in college, only I went to community college, so like I wasn't like in a dorm or anything. It was just I was college age, and
hey, so it's all good.
living with my buddies, and we didn't have internet, but we were waiting on it. It was exactly your situation. We were waiting on it to get installed, and we didn't have permission to use the Wi-Fi at like a nearby like coffee shop, but we had went there one time and got the password as a customer. But I wanted to play World of Warcraft, and my desktop didn't have Wi-Fi. This was back whenever Wi-Fi, like it's not great now, but it really sucked back then. So you didn't. if you had a gaming PC, it did not have Wi-Fi, and and so what we did was we connected my laptop to the coffee shop, and then we set up a bridge connection where I could plug from my laptop into my desktop. So I really was using Wi-Fi, but I was using
That's amazing.
to use that.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
And but we had to like kind of open a window and like point it and like tilt the screen, like doing our best to like try to like aim the laptop at the coffee shop.
You did like a dish, a little dishy.
My little character in World of Warcraft going,
oh my gosh. That's horrible. Hey, but you got to play. That's what counts.
That's right.
May have died many times, but you got to play.
Man, back then, man, World of Warcraft was everything.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't really have anything to talk about other than I wanted to talk about Stray and Unity.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you want to get into that. You've heard some stuff about Stray now. I know you've been like on the fence, and I think you've ultimately decided you're probably going to pick it up.
Yeah, well, so I in the Discord I asked just to get a poll to see how many people thought I should just buy it, and I additionally asked anyone thought that $30 was too much for like an indie game, and I didn't get really any responses on that. So
it's tough.
Not sure what people are exactly thinking.
I mean, $30 for me for an indie game, I don't think it's overpriced, but it would have to be. It would have to be from a creator that I recognized or from like somebody that had done something in the past that I respected. Otherwise, $20 is usually my indie game kind of entry point.
Yeah, that's where
20
I'm
and
at.
below.
I'm usually 20's good. So 30, I was like, because I didn't know how long the game's going to be, how good it was, all stuff.
Yeah.
And so far, I've heard that it's very good from everybody. I haven't heard one person say it's not good.
Yeah,
and yeah, you've played it, and the only problem I can see with it is some people say it's not very long. Which
I'm pretty far into it, and I'm wondering how close to the. I must be close to the end then.
Right. Well, my one friend said it took him, I think, 7 hours. I think.
Oh
7 or 8
wow.
hours.
I've played more than that.
Yeah.
I've played, but I'm not.
I don't know how he plays. Everyone plays different. Everyone, like some people go like real fast, and other people just kind of like to chill and take their time. And
yeah, I remember what was that zombie game that I was like all obsessed with? That one.
Oh jeez. I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Heaven Dust. Dust.
Yes.
People were saying they beat that game in like 2 hours and stuff, and I was like, oh come on! Like it was a short game, but it didn't. It took me way longer than 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. But yeah, so I mean, for that game, for this specific game, $30 seems like it's a pretty good price, and I justify that.
So.
Yeah, I justify that by the reviews and what everyone has said so far, and also the fact that I used to pay more for a game as short as that or shorter in the past. A linear game, and I was fine with that. And now all of a sudden, why is $30? I'm like contradicting myself right now, but like, well, why should $30 be much?
My thing is, if I see a game is $9.99, then I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll buy it. Let's see what this is, and then I'll play it for 15 minutes, and I'm like, it's not really what I thought it was going to be,
Yep.
Whereas like this game, it's 3 of those games, and I'll play it for 3 times as long,
Right.
But so my situation with Stray is, I don't know if I ever talked about it on the podcast, but I actually was waiting on it to come out because I saw a preview for it, and I watched the video with my son, and he was pretty, I mean, it couldn't have been more than a year ago, but it just, I don't know, a 4-year-old changes so fast. Like I feel like he was so much smaller than he is today. And at that time, he wouldn't really watch me play video games. He just wasn't all that interested. I mean, he would watch for like a moment, but then he would move on. But this, he seemed like really into when we watched the preview. And so I was like, man, I'm going to get this game, and he'll just enjoy watching me play it, and it'll be a lot of fun. And so I was like waiting on it to come out. And then I saw that it released, and I picked it up almost immediately. And me, my wife, and we all fell in love with it. And like the weekend that it came out, and that's probably why I've had more time in the game, is because I'm thinking about their time too, because we basically have watched each other play the same parts of the game over and over again. Because like when it first came out, I used my Steam Deck to connect to the TV, And I I don't know if I told you, but I've lost my Luna controller. Like, it is gone.
Oh yeah, you told me, yeah.
Dude, we've turned this house upside down. It's gone. I don't know what happened to it. I cleaned out the
Dude, that's
garage one day,
great.
and I think somehow it got thrown away. But I bought a Xbox controller instead, and I hooked it up to the Steam Deck, which it should work Bluetooth, by the way. But for whatever reason, I can't get mine to stay connected Bluetooth, so I have to
Hmm,
plug it in. I
that's
don't know.
weird.
I've seen videos of people using Xbox controllers Bluetooth on the Steam Deck, and it works.
Hmm,
Again,
weird.
it's not you, Fedora. It's me. In this case, it's not you, SteamOS. It's me. I don't know what it is, but it's not you. I'm sure
Hey,
of it.
that's Arch. Arch, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's Arch, by the way. Xbox 360 controllers don't work, by the way. Um, so we set that up in the living room, and even though you're watching it, you're basically watching like a 720p screen, like blown up
Right.
onto a big
Right.
TV. It looks like you're playing like PlayStation like 3 or something. Like, it looks like a
Okay.
console graphics, and it
Right.
looks, it honestly, it looks all right. Like, my wife didn't know the difference. My son didn't know the difference. I am so
You're a
spoiled
seasoned
by
gamer.
right, yeah, like, I'm so spoiled by looking at it on my monitor that I can't stand it, but it didn't
Right.
bother them at all. And I mean, literally, just like the first night, we just kept trading, playing the game, and trying to jump to the different places we needed to go. So, like, the gist of
Right.
the game is, you start out as, you're like just a stray cat, and you're like with a group of other cats, and they're like your pride, right? Like, you're you're like on the prowl. And the sort of the introductory of the game, as you're kind of like learning the controls, is you're learning to like kind of leap across things and jump across this like dilapidated, like abandoned like
Right.
city area. And at some point, you get separated from the rest of the group, and that's whenever
Right.
like kind of the game kicks off and starts. And the interesting storytelling of the game is that, like, the cat is just trying, your motivation is just to try to get back to your other cats, because
Right.
if you're any sort of human being at all, whenever that moment happens where the cat gets separated, you're like, oh no, like, we've got to get him back to his friends. He just needs to be with other cats. And
Immediate heart wrenching.
right, yeah. And so, like, that's the only goal. But in order to do that, you start to learn about this like deep lore of this like robot civilization that like has like, they were built by humans. They consider the humans their ancestors, and they're like living in
Don't
this
give me too
underground
much, man.
city. Yeah, I'm not gonna reveal too much, but it's like it seriously is like this like Half-Life or Portal level.
Yeah, that's what you said. You specifically said that before. That's
Yeah.
that intrigues me.
It's like that type of storytelling, or like that type of like background. Like, there's like a B plot going on that is like way more advanced and sophisticated than the A plot,
As you,
which is
yeah,
the A
as you
plot.
go on, you're kind of like wondering, like, is this a
Right.
little deeper than you think?
Yeah, exactly. Like, the A plot is just like this cat's trying to get back to his other cat friends, right? Like, that's
Right.
the A plot of the game. And then B plot has to do with like all this like alien races and like
Oh, gee. Okay.
post-apocalyptic, like, it's so wild that like that's the
That
storytelling is
sounds.
really clever. And then
I gotta get this.
there's
This
the whole
you're
aspect
hyping me up.
of I also think it's deeper than that, though, because as a video game aficionado, right, like, I can talk to you about this, like, it's deeper than just, because usually when you play a game, you're playing it as like, okay, if I'm playing Resident Evil, I'm playing as the main character of the game, and he is
Yeah.
trying to find his daughter who has been like kidnapped. He doesn't know where she's at, and for whatever reason, he believes she's in this castle. And you know what I mean? Like, you're like
Right.
playing, you're almost role playing as that character. Whereas
Right. Yeah.
in this game, the character is a cat that can't that can't read. It can't
Spoiler
like
alert.
yeah. So like, there's so many, like, it doesn't like, does the cat understand the story that's going
Right.
on around it? As a
Yeah.
right, as a
Gotcha.
player, I understand it, and I see the puzzles, and I
Hmm.
know that if there's a number written on the wall that's important, I need to write it down. But the cat doesn't know. The cat only has that awareness because I'm controlling it in the video game.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh man. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get this game.
Nick says it sounds a bit like Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah, I've heard that comparison, but I haven't watched that show yet. It's been recommended to me several times, though. I need to watch it.
Oh, it's a show. Okay.
Yeah, Love, Death, and the Robot. I think it's one of those anthologies where like every episode is a different story.
All right.
But
I kind of like that kind.
yeah, they are very like kind of like deep sci-fi, um, like conundrum shows. Like I haven't watched it
Right.
yet, but I've heard a good bit about it.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Cool.
it's a really good game. I think, and we talked about a few other games by the same company. We've talked about that Souls-like game that I played on the airplane
Right.
in New York. I can't remember the name of it, and we talked about the it's like the Last Days of Edith Finch or something like that. It was another
Yeah.
game I
Right.
think we talked about. It's the same company, but by far, this is their like. I mean, I haven't played every game they've put out, and they've put out a lot, but this seems to
Okay.
be the most highly rated thing that they've put out. Like, I don't think anything they've put
Right.
out has taken off to this degree. Everybody
Yeah.
seems
Like
to
one
all
day
love
it was
this game.
like no stray, and the next day the strays were
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. I love it.
It's crazy.
It switched from Elden Ring to Stray,
Oh
and
yeah, like that. It was like in one day. It was just like, what's Elden Ring? There's this new
yeah,
game Stray. I mean, come on, get with the times.
yeah. A buddy of mine posted a meme on Facebook that was like it had like a picture of Elden Ring, and then it had like a picture of Stray, and it's like, okay, like time for the real men to like time for the little boys to step aside. It really is really good though. I got really far. I have to be near the end. I can't really talk about it to you because I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like
Of course.
what you're mostly working towards, I have achieved that, but I don't know what happens after it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's really
Gotcha.
good. It's really good. It reminds me a lot. Like I keep making the comparison to Portal and Half-Life, but it's almost like how in Half-Life 2, where you're Gordon Freeman, and it's like you kind of have to go through this maze, and it's a first-person shooter game, so you're like killing aliens and stuff. You're not really
Right.
doing that in this game. Well, I don't know. That's questionable, but in Half-Life you're doing the whole first person shooter thing, and then eventually you'll come to some point where you meet like a group of people and they're like, "Oh, Gordon Freeman," and they
Yeah.
give you a
Right.
little bit of story moment, and then you find out a little bit more about the story, and then you got to go to a new place and you got to do that.
Right.
That's the way this game plays too. It's like, the cat shows up, and there's like part of the story, and then you find out where
Stuff
you need to go
happens.
next, and then you're just like jumping around trying to get to the next thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, Other than that, I've played. I got another game that I've played, but I don't want to step on. I don't know if you've been playing many games as busy as you've been.
No, I haven't. Like, yeah, no.
Well, let me ask you. I know you've played Elder Scrolls. We've played Elder Scrolls together. Is that the like? Have you played any other MMOs? I mean, MMORPGs?
Guild Wars 2, right? That considered?
Oh
That would
yeah.
be considered
Oh
the
yeah,
same
yeah, for
type.
sure.
Um, RuneScape, obviously.
No, yeah,
I've mentioned that.
RuneScape has
Mentioned
like
that several
stood the
times.
test of time, man.
Yeah, still around, still going strong.
Right? Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other. I know there has. Are you talking about like MMOs,
Yeah.
RPGs?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no, you're hitting it on the hell on the you're hitting the nail on the head.
um,
I
yeah, I
just
think that I'm sure I've played others, but that I've definitely played those ones.
well, it's interesting that you mentioned RuneScape, because that's kind of where I've been interested in this MMO that was a Kickstarter,
Okay.
and I know we've mentioned it on the show before, but there hasn't been much news to talk about. Recently, they were going to go into a pre-alpha test for investors, and
Mm.
then they just recently announced that they are quite possibly gonna have to postpone it. They didn't officially postpone
Mm.
it yet, but they said they probably will. Um,
Right.
and it's being made in Unity, so it'll probably be if it's ever released, it'll probably be available on Linux because it's being made in Unity.
Yeah.
Even if we have to
Right.
run
Of
it in an
course.
emulator, it'll run on Proton or something.
Yeah.
But
Make it easier to get up and running, basically.
right, yeah, exactly. And it's called Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. And I'm not, whether you believe the game is worth I would say I'm not investing any money until there's something playable. Um,
Oh yeah.
because it may
I'm
never.
always that.
Yeah, I mean, it may never come out. They're not really obligated to deliver anything at this point, you know. Um,
Very RuneScape-esque.
well, the thing
Like
about it
the
is, it's supposed to be like an old school MMO, because just like in the example of RuneScape and in World of Warcraft, a lot of these MMOs, people got into them whenever they were kind of like new and primitive, and then as more and more advanced
Right.
features came out, people lost interest in them. And
Right.
so the idea behind Pantheon and a few other projects is that they're trying to go back to that old school feel.
Ooh, this
And
looks. Yeah, I
yeah,
can see why there's some hype behind it.
I'm really interested in it, but it's been like 8 years. Like, they've been working on it for a while.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for it, but at the same time, I'm not like, I'm rooting for it. I hope
Yeah.
that it comes out, but I would hesitate to recommend anybody get too overly hyped about it. I've been really interested in that, and it's been taking a while to come out, and I just kind of wanted to play something that was of that like classic feel, and so I tried out a WoW private server. Um,
Right. Yep.
it's called Turtle. You saw me playing WoW, and and I told you I was playing WoW again, but I wasn't proud of it. But I've actually been playing a WoW private server. And the idea behind this particular private server, like I said, it's called Turtle WoW. You can look it up. I actually have it running in Lutris. So the
Okay.
way I thought, I don't know how to make a Lutris package. I should Google that. It's probably pretty easy. They probably make it relatively easy because they want
Mostly
people to
like a
make.
script.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like a programming language. It's just like a scripting language.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of,
I
I
think
think.
basically you can convert your install into a script, I think.
Probably.
But yeah, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, etc. Nick dropped that in the chat. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate. I gotta start playing that one. That's my next game I want to.
Yeah, the Baldur's Gate 3 is good. It's still in development, but it is. I mean, it's basically a working AAA game. But the idea behind Turtle WoW is they took classic World of Warcraft. It's a hilarious name,
I love that name.
but it is slow as a turtle. It is slow as a turtle because I played it for like a week every
Right.
single night. I was doing the thing where, like, I was at work thinking about Turtle WoW. I got off work and I just found as much time as I could to play Turtle WoW. Stayed up late playing Turtle WoW. Go to bed. Wake up early in the morning to play a little bit before I go to work Turtle
Oh
WoW.
my gosh! Wow,
And
I haven't done that in a long time for a game.
I got to level 10. I got to level 10. And the premise is it is classic World of Warcraft, but if Blizzard had continued developing vanilla WoW without any expansions. So
Ooh, okay.
yeah, so they've made new zones. They added in 2 new playable races.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they're working on a raid if they don't already have one, new dungeons. And this is all extra content that's not part of the original game, but the original game is still intact. And it doesn't have any of the changes that took place after vanilla WoW. So none of the stuff that happens in Cataclysm, it's all the original WoW stuff.
So, like, this would be a good game for me to get into.
Yeah.
To like have that old school WoW experience without being, from the 90s.
Right. Yeah. And it still has old school WoW graphics, but they have improved some things.
Yeah, well, right.
They did improve some effects, and they've added in some extra music. They did improve a lot of things. I could tell that I started an undead character, and I could tell that the undead zone had a little extra stuff, especially like the rain was different, just like little things, like not major changes.
Atmospheric kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And they've also they've tried to add in quests in such a way that you can't tell which ones are theirs and which ones are Blizzard.
Okay.
They don't want it to be like immersion breaking. They want it to feel like you're playing like a Blizzard WoW. And but they also have different like modes of play. So like in the starting area, every starting area, they have a quest giver that can sell you a glyph, and if you apply this glyph to your character, then it changes your character permanently. There's one that's like a heroic glyph. So if you die, you die. You don't get back up and go to your body the way you typically do in World of Warcraft. And if you make it all the way to the max level as a hardcore player, then you get like a special mount and special stuff, because you did that. And if you die, it puts it in the chat for everybody. It tells everybody, like, so and so, like, what a shame, so and so died on hardcore mode.
It's like a newspaper, it's like an obituary.
It says something like that. It's like, what a shame.
That's
or something.
Crazy. So like, what do you have to play this game? Like, is it like you have to have vanilla WoW? Do you have to have? Is it free? Like, what is it?
It's free. You download. So
okay,
yeah, if you go to their website, you can download their they basically just have a pre-packaged version of vanilla WoW, and you extract that. And in my case, I extracted that, and then I downloaded the vanilla. There's a vanilla WoW Lutris profile already for some other private server.
Okay, gotcha.
And I used that build, but I just pointed it to my exe for Turtle WoW. And then just change the icon to say Turtle WoW instead of whatever the other private server was, and that worked fine for me. I didn't have to make any changes other than that. Vanilla WoW is such an old game that I imagine that like any wine version is you're not going to need anything to run it. Yeah,
like wine 2.0 and on.
Yeah, it might run it better.
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah.
So yeah, I just used that pre-packaged build for this other. There's only one other private server on Lutris. That's the one I used.
So is there a reason why it's called Turtle WoW?
Because it's slow. Because it's slower than regular.
Oh, okay. So literally, that's why they named it that way. Interesting.
I guess my assumption is that, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So
that's cool though.
The mode of play that I chose, and this is why it took me so long, is the mode of play I chose. I can't remember what it's called. I think it might have been called Turtle. I think it might have been something turtle. Glyph of the turtle. It was it used a classic what's
Hidden
the
tortoise
EverQuest. Yeah. It used a classic EverQuest rules where when I would die, I would lose 5% of my experience.
Oh, all right.
And
so you lost a significant amount.
You can lose experience. Yeah, you can't lose levels, but you can lose experience. And you only got 50% experience for killing mobs, but you got 100% experience if you were grouped up doing group content, or if you turn in quests, you got normal XP. So it leveled significantly slower. My problem was I had the opposite problem as like if you play retail WoW right now, you level so fast that like you're out leveled for the zone you're in. Whereas I would level so slow that I would do every quest in a zone, and then I'd go to the next zone and I can't kill anything there because like I'm not high enough level yet. And
I can grind.
Yeah, so I'd have to go back to the other zone and just like kill stuff until I got a level.
Oh man, that reminds me of RuneScape so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just killing stuff, killing cows for like days to get up levels.
Yeah, so it was intense. Why are you thinking about playing Turtle WoW? I quit playing it, but I'll play it if you play it.
I don't know. I'd have to see. I like I said, I've never played WoW, so like I don't even know if I'd like it. I'm sure I would.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if it would be. I'm trying to think if it would be a good experience to start on this, or to just find like a classic. There are. Well, you could play classic WoW. Blizzard has a classic WoW. But you'd have to pay. You'd have to pay for a subscription though if you did that.
Okay. Yeah.
This has no like subscription or anything like that. It's not official.
I don't know if I feel like paying Blizzard.
Yeah, I know. So the reason why I quit playing Turtle WoW is because I just thought like if this server goes down tomorrow, then all the work I put in for the last week goes away. Whereas like at least if I was paying Blizzard for a classic WoW subscription, at least my character would be around forever. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So,
that's understandable.
But I don't know if you've never played before though. Maybe that doesn't matter to you so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you want to play, I'll play. But otherwise, I'm not. I'm probably not going back for that reason. I don't want to dedicate so much time to it and then like
Lose everything.
it doesn't
Yep.
really matter. Yeah.
I totally get that.
So how's the new job? How are you enjoying that?
It's a job. It's not anything special. It's the whole campus is I work at a college, but the whole campus is Windows, like from
Yeah.
top to bottom.
Yeah.
There's like maybe like 0.3% max.
I
and then that's that.
in my experience working in a corporate world, I got lucky that my first job was like heavily Linux related.
Right.
But other than that position, it has been a novelty everywhere else I've ever went. It's been great to be the guy that whenever they do need somebody to do something on Linux, it's like, oh well, you got to call Bo because no one else knows what the hell a terminal is. But for that reason, everything that's been put in place by other sysadmins before me was all
Right.
Windows because they put in something they were familiar with.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
been my experience everywhere, basically.
And the stuff they run is so ancient. I'm just like,
Yeah.
they have this one program that's like they're switching to. They're switching from another program to this program, and the program that they're switching to is over 15 years old.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. That's hilarious.
So yeah, it's and not only that, but it uses its own proprietary language to package applications. And I'm like, I'm just not gonna learn that because it's worthless to me.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm just building Windows PCs. That's really what I do.
yeah.
I set up all the software on them. I make sure everything's up to date, all that crap. That's basically what I do right now. So
Yeah.
this is definitely, I don't want to say a temporary job because I actually do like the people there, and the flexibility of the job is extremely nice. I can come in whenever I want as long as I work 8 hours. That's the gist of that job, which is really nice to have.
Yeah. You never
but
know,
at
man.
this-
Like you just
Yeah.
never like I never knew that like where I work now even existed,
Right.
And you just never know where like this thing is going to lead you to the next thing.
Right, exactly. That's where I'm kind of at right now. I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna take a break from what I was doing before, which was a lot more crazy than this,
Yeah.
and just relax for a little bit and just kind of do my job and kind of ride it out for a while.
Well,
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
I'm glad to hear it. I bet it's a cool environment. Do you think you'd ever do indie game development? Are you going to make the next Stray?
Well, it would be cool.
I'm obviously doing a terrible segue. I'm trying. I said on a previous episode that like Unity looked pretty easy. I could learn it in a weekend. No big deal. Game development is super easy. So I finally made good on that statement, and I've been learning Unity, and it is really cool. And it is pretty intuitive, more intuitive than I tried to use Blender before, and
yeah, that's
oh my
a lot.
gosh, yeah. All I could make was donuts. It seemed like every 3D model I put in was like a donut, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm making a donut.
You're gonna make a Simpsons episode, basically.
Yeah, a giant Simpsons
all
donut.
the way.
No, I don't know anything about 3D modeling. Even now, I don't know anything about Unity. I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. I did not learn it in a weekend. That is for sure.
Get all these recruiters coming for you for Unity development.
I'm some kind of savant. But it is really cool, and I did find it intuitive. But I thought about this. This kind of goes back to that previous story. Is like I was just wondering how hard is it to develop. Like we see these Kickstarter games that come out, and then years down the road, they show you, okay, this is our pre-alpha phase. This is what we've done with your money. And then you look at it and you're like, I really feel like somebody that knew what they were doing could have done this in way less time. I
Yeah.
mean, did these people
Right.
take the money and then learn to use a software like Unity or something? And that's included in that time? Because like it just seems like if you look at like some of these games that are delivered and you look at like pre-rendered assets on the Unity asset store, and not only can you buy 3D models, I'll have to use 3D models for whatever I decide to make, because I'm not, even
Right.
if I could do it, I don't have the time to both like program and develop a game and also be the 3D modeler, and I
Yep.
can't pay
Hence why
somebody
there's
else.
like hundreds of people that work on these big games.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to have to use something that's pre-made. And I just I don't know. I feel like in addition to the 3D models, you can also buy like Unity packaged and made like kits. They have an MMO kit. I sent you a YouTube video of this
Okay.
company. They're called like Adavision, and they make a kit that you can download their kit and put it in your Unity, and you have
Right.
an MMO. You host it on a DigitalOcean
Hmm.
droplet or something, and people can
Wow.
join your game. And
Interesting.
it has quests, it has playable races, it has spells, all that stuff. All you're doing is adjusting what they made, and
Hmm.
that's, I mean, I think technically that would be just called an asset flip. You're just taking something somebody else made and putting a
Right.
new
Yeah.
name on it. But
Right.
what I mean is, like, it just seems, whenever you look at those things, it doesn't look that different than the videos of, say, I don't want to say a particular game because I don't want to like criticize. Like I was talking about Pantheon
Right.
earlier, but like those type MMO Kickstarter games end up looking similar to this. And
Mm-hmm.
what's to keep anyone from doing that in a year as opposed to 8 years? You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, I was thinking about this, and it led me down the path of trying to learn, like, could I make a single player RPG in Unity? How hard would that be? And
Mm-hmm.
how could I do it the most efficient way possible? And the idea that I've kind of come up with, and I've started working on, is I kind of want to make a game that is similar to, what's the Viking game that we were all obsessed with?
Valheim.
Valheim. So I was thinking, if you were to try to make an RPG, one of the biggest things that would take the most time is like making like maps and environments. But
Right. Exactly.
if you make it randomly or procedurally generated in a similar way to what Valheim does, then that takes some of that time out. You have to develop the process to do that, but once you have that down, every time you load the game, you can just generate a new environment. And so that's where
Right.
I started. Is I said, okay, I need to learn how to randomly generate environments. And that was pretty easy. I learned to do that. I learned to do it in a single sense. There's a kit called Map Magic, and it basically, that's what it does. You give it parameters, you give it like what tools to use, what assets to use,
Right.
and then it'll generate a random terrain based on what you input.
Interesting.
And now I'm thinking, well, I got to learn to do that so that whenever the player spins up an instance of the game, or maybe you can host an instance the way you can on Valheim, it
Right.
spins up a randomly generated one every time. I mean, there's still things like, I still need to learn how to do that aspect of it, and how do you add things into that that's like, well,
Right.
when you click on this plant, you can harvest it, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm rambling now, but I'm really getting into Unity. I started following the subreddit. I've been reading some posts on there.
Cool.
I'm trying to learn Cinemachine, which is like a camera kit. So like if you have
Okay.
like a third person camera or like a first person, like all that is done through the camera, and it's more complicated than you think, because let's say in a game like Elder Scrolls Online, where when you move the mouse, your camera moves,
Right.
versus a game like World of Warcraft, where you have to right click to move the camera. Like,
Right.
those are dramatically different, like, ways to set that. Like, it seems like a subtle difference, but it's dramatically different in the way you would set that up in Unity. And so
Okay.
I'm trying to
Right.
learn about that right now.
So it's not like an easy switch back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
didn't do this. I didn't do this discussion justice. I should have written down some notes about Unity. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll start trying to document things as I learn them, and I'm hoping that there's people that listen to the show that are more familiar. We got a lot of Linux nerds, a lot of gaming nerds. There's got to be some Unity nerds out there.
Yeah. Come on, Unity people. Let's go.
I would love to be able to ask questions and have somebody write in and answer my questions, because the only way I'll learn it is if I make some kind of project. And right now my project is I'm trying to make like a randomly generated RPG. And I
Right.
think that's doable. I could buy a kit now that will do that, but I want to learn to do it. I don't want to just buy, an asset.
You want to be the kit developer.
I want to be the kit. Yeah.
I want to be I am one with the kit.
Yeah, I wanna learn more about it. It's a fun project. It's creative. In my day job, I kind of have went from doing something that was more coding and technically creative, to now I'm more of a project manager kind of thing, and I'm not really getting
Right.
to do that as much.
So you
And
lost that aspect of your job, so now you want to kind of fill in the blank with this.
Exactly.
Got it.
That's
That
exactly
makes
right.
total sense. I get that.
That's exactly right. But I don't know anything about C#. Anything I've done, yeah, that's what you would do. So far I haven't written any code. I need to. That Cinemachine problem that I was describing, where I want to be able to move I want to have a free cursor, but also be able to right click and move the camera. I'm going to have to, this is going to be my first experience trying to dive in and actually putting those actions into the C# code.
I heard C# is like, I shouldn't say like Python, but it's like a high level.
So in the way that it's like, I didn't know if I would sound stupid saying that, so I'm glad that you said it. But like, I'm familiar with Python from a pandas data collection, data science side of things. But I can recognize
different on the programming side.
Yeah, so like I can recognize that it is like object oriented, and you have to like call things at the top of your script that you're going to use later. It looks familiar enough that I can, when I watch somebody do it on YouTube, I can understand what they're doing. But in a million years, without following a step-by-step guide, I wouldn't know where to start to know what to call or when to use certain things,
Now, is C# at all like Python, where they have lots of libraries where you can just kind of pull them in?
It looks like it to me. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, to me it looks like that. Yeah, but I could be wrong, but it does appear that way.
I'm like an armchair developer. Like, I listen to all these podcasts about development, so it sounds like I know what I'm talking about sometimes, but I couldn't program for my life.
No, I don't know. I was a sysadmin that was not really a part of my job, but then I kind of discovered that I really enjoyed like doing like development, and so I just started doing more and more of it until someone noticed that, like, hey, he's not that bad at that, actually,
That guy's kind of good.
But now I've been promoted and I don't get to do any of it.
Yeah, that would be my worst fear, is to like get into something that I really like and then be promoted and then be like totally just not even doing that anymore.
Such is life, man. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Once they realize that you're good enough at something that you can teach other people to do it, you're going to be teaching other people instead of
always be average.
Right. Always be average. But no, really though, I thought I could just wing it and be all right, but I'm going to write down some stuff I want to talk about when it comes to Unity, and maybe we'll make this a reoccurring segment where I won't talk a long time, just a quick thing about like what I've been learning and if I have any questions.
Just like keep it like a updated ledger of what's going on with it, because
we gotta
really
make
cool.
We gotta make a Crowbar Kernel Panic game of some kind. We gotta.
I know, like even if it's just throwing crowbars at whatever.
That's pretty funny.
Like you're a Linux penguin with a ninja, like mask and whole ninja thing going on, and you're throwing crowbars. Ninja star.
At little kernel panics.
Whatever they are. We can make them what they need to be.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to go into. I think so. You're probably still in the madness of moving in.
This room is a disaster. I mean, there's boxes everywhere.
I was gonna I was gonna say
everywhere.
you're in a new room now, and I no longer have the brawny paper towels in the corner.
Nope. Nope.
You gotta.
Although I do have paper towels somewhere.
I was gonna say I want you to stand up some back there, just so we could keep that meme alive.
Yes, I know. I need to find something. I don't know. There's got to be something.
I'm gonna get
some
some
toilet paper.
I'm gonna get some from my shelf right there.
That's our new symbol. That's what we do. We have to throw crowbars at brawny
paper towels. Yeah.
Well, we can't use brawny, but
All right. Well, we'll see you next episode. I would say next week, but we're not sure. We're still in the midst of the mad life.
Oh, hey, we got a last minute commenter here in the YouTube chat.
Nice. Oh snap.
Not even sure how to pronounce that. Smessel I botched that, but yeah.
We're awful. We're awful.
Well, he said he finally caught the live show, so hey, that's awesome. I'm glad to see you here.
All right.
Glad for everyone who listened.
Too bad you caught the end. See you next.
You know.
See you next episode. Peace.
Yeah, see ya.